are not an unintelligent people. The British people are a people who know intrinsically what's going on. You are not a foolish people. Come together and demand answers to the question. Because if you don't, they will not provide no answers. All of these crocodile tears that you see certain politicians now shedding or whatever, that's based on what you did. You forced them to now decide, oh, and we're getting reports now that they were hugging some victims in 10 Downing Street, but they couldn't hug the victims in the public. This is a report that they put out in the papers to make you think, oh yeah, they've really got a heart.
What's a hug?
Yeah, what's a hug? Exactly. We need more than hugs today. We need more than hugs today. We need justice. And so I only took the microphone. Thank you, brother. I only took the microphone because there are people. By the way, when you come together and you try to unify, you will find people will come, and they are agent provocateurs. They will be sent in among you to create little pockets of argument and discontent. It's deliberate. When you see these demonstrations and you see these guys running around with balaclavas and you think they're just some little hoodlums, many of them are paid agent provocateurs, and they're the ones who will come and throw the first brick or throw the first Molotov cocktail to get the thing started. But they are not a part. So be vigilant. Look at the people who come and make sure that they have the same agenda as you. And be prepared to call them out if they're here just to create mischief and ultimately cause the shedding of blood. Be very mindful, because we're playing for very high stakes. You can change the political atmosphere in this country. You can change the social dynamics in this country if you insist to the government that as the people, you demand your rights. You demand freedom, justice, equality. There should not be this divide where you have these people who have so much and then other people who have nothing, and nobody is prepared to help the people on the ground. It's wrong. And I know they will keep telling you, well, this is just the way of the world, you know, you got some who have and some who don't. It doesn't have to be like that. It does not have to be like that. There is another way where you could actually give freedom, justice and equality to every human being, regardless to their creed or their class or their color. But some people are just greedy. Some people just don't care. And you and I, we can bring the care back into the community by first caring for self and one another. And if we would care for one another and care for self, you automatically demand that every one of them in politics, in power, that they have to start caring for the people. And if they don't, you take them out of power. Very simple. Very simple. We give them their mandate to rule. The police, when they join the police force, they want to do, most of them are conscientious, good people. They want to help society. But sometimes in the training it goes wrong. And then many of you as members of the public, you're driving along the road and you're scared of the police. Why are you scared of the police? The police are supposed to be your servants. You're not supposed to drive down the road terrified of police officers. But many people today are. You're driving down the road and there's a police car, you're in a 40 limit and the police car is doing 35 and you're afraid to overtake. It is your right to overtake and go about your business. But if you have the wrong relationship with the police, if you don't remind the police that they are supposed to be servants of the people, not bully boys of the people. We're too trusting. We go to the doctor says, yep, well, this is your diagnosis, here are your pills, and we just take it, we don't question. You need to question everything. Question. If you love yourself, question. Ask the questions and demand answers. This is why we're here in this area today, to encourage the families, encourage the people, many of whom have been suffering in this area for a long time. Many of whom don't believe that they're going to see any justice. Many of whom are asking very profound and deep questions about what's really going on with this fight. And they don't believe there's going to be any answers. And so wherever you are, whether you're local here, where you're coming in to support, please keep coming and support the people. And make sure that, again, we tell them, don't be taking the stuff and giving it to Oxfam and these big charities. The people went out of their way to give it to the victims and their families. So we need to ask, where are the families? Where are the victims? Because we want them to get these things, even if they get it at a later date, or even as one lady I saw on the television suggested the other day, that the stuff then be sold, be auctioned, the valuable things be sold at auction, and the money collected in order to give it to the families, to the people. Would any of you begrudge these people living well after the hell that they've been through?
No.
Right, so don't worry about maybe if they should get a better life from this. They've been through enough. And so I encourage you, you know, those of you, you know that you have some influence somewhere. Thank you very much.
Keep talking, man. Keep preaching, man. Keep preaching.
I do have something here. Those of you who have influence in whatever capacity, you should speak to those who you can influence to really help the people here and ask those pertinent questions. Because if you don't ask the questions, they won't supply the answers. And when they've tried to fudge the answer and give out sound bites, you need to insist. I don't know where my handkerchief went. You need to insist. Thank you, brother. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes when you use the tissue, it comes off on your... So, thank you. Thank you. Don't let people provoke you. When we were here yesterday, and some people came to us and they were asking us some crazy questions about what do we believe and whatever. And you know, again, it was a kind of provocation, and we did entertain them for a little while, but we don't want to gather crowds for the wrong reasons. If we're going to gather a crowd, let's gather a crowd around this issue, not around our own personal belief systems and so on and so forth. That's all I'm saying. Don't let people hoodwink you and fool you today. There is a much bigger thing going on here than any of us. It can't be about our own personal egos and our own personal vanity. It has to be that we understand that a tragedy has happened and that we genuinely desire justice for the people. And if that's what we desire, and if we keep coming out for that, eventually we will see justice. A long time ago, I used to live in Clapham in South London, and a little girl was knocked over by a off-duty police officer in his car and killed. And the mother and members of the family demanded that a zebra crossing be put where the child was killed, because there was no proper crossing for school children crossing in that area. And the authorities said no. And the lady called on myself and some of the younger brothers and sisters in the area, and we all came out and we demonstrated for several weeks that we wanted a zebra crossing. And there was times when the police would come and they would drive their cars at a very slow pace, but to move us out of the road and to move us. And we ended up laying on the bonnet of the police cars on several occasions, but we would not move. And eventually we got a zebra crossing. We must understand that's the only way people who demand rights win rights in a society like this. The suffragettes, women, had to chain themselves to railings just to get a vote. Understand this. Power does never concede anything without a demand. You have to force power to do justice. Otherwise they will say platitudes, they will tell you nice words, and they're very good at words. And they will make it sound so wonderful that just bear with us. You're going to see change, and nothing will. And they give you cosmetic change, like the cladding that they put on that tower. Cosmetic change, but no real change for the residents and the occupants, except in the end they lost their lives. And so I'm saying you have the ability, you have the power to bring change. And so come out, sorry.